Sono le macchine sotto acqua, ragazzi. Questa è via Sant'Alessio. Guarda che roba questo.
In Palermo, video footage showed buses floating down main boulevards and people wading through the waist-deep water in historic center. It felt like the city was drowning, said resident Guglielmo Marina, who in Norway escalated to a flooded car near Roma. Emergency crew worked overnight to rescue more than 500 people, including families trapped in the apartment building and tourists stranded in a hotel. The airport of Catania temporarily suspended operations as runway flooded, while railway service across eastern Sicily were halted due to mudslides and debris covering the tracks. Authority also evacuated several villages and Mount Etna, where heavy triggered landslides and engulfed roads and damaged power lines, cutting the electricity to hundreds of homes. Meteorologists identified the cause of powerful Medici, the Mediterranean hurricane-like system formed over unusually warm sea waters south of Italy. The storm brought record-breaking rainfall exceeded 200 millimeters in some areas within 20 hours, alongside gale-force winds and intense lightning strikes.
Non ci credo, oddio, qua, la moto, la macchina.
The equivalent of the month was not very. Authority urged residents to avoid unnecessary travel and warning of the possibility of landscape nearly hit districts such as Tivoli and Frascati. Rome Major Roberto Gagliardi said emergency crews were working around the clock to restore power and clear blocked roads. "We are seeing an terrible effects of the changing climate," he told reports. Social media was flooded with dramatic videos showing hailstones the size of a marble, thunder echoing through the city and lighting illumination the ancient skyline. Residents described the storm as apocalyptic and terrifying, but financier. The down the sky had cleared, received streets littered with debris and stranded vehicles. Meteorologists warned that more storm could follow in Italy, reminded under the red weather alert, a stark reminder of how even historic cities like Rome have become vulnerable to extreme weather events.
Amo, vai di là, chiudi.
Palermo, the vibrant capital of the city, was the scene of devastation after one of the most violent storms in the recent memory battered the city overnight. Within a few short hours, torrential downpour and hurricane-force winds transformed the sun-drenched Mediterranean Cup into the landscape of chaos and destruction. According to Italy's Civil Protection Department, the storm unleashed more than 115 millimeters of rain, equivalent of 2 months of precipitation, in less than 3 hours. The city and the drainage system dating back in the 19th century was quickly overwhelmed. Cars flooded through the flooded streets, traffic lights flickered out the entire neighborhood, including Partana, Oreta and Mandela, were cut off by rising water. Local authorities described the event as one in the century deluge. Major Roberto Lagale urged residents to remain indoors and declared to municipality energy. "This is not a simple storm," he told reporters. "It is a climate disaster that has hit Palermo. It is unprecedented force." Videos circulated online captured the shocking moment when the lightning illuminated the city skyline. Rome faced an unexpected and ferocious hailstorm yesterday, transforming the historic streets of the Eternal City into the winter-like scene in the middle of autumn. Within the minutes, hailstorm is large as walnuts pelted rooftops, cars and incident-capable stones caused widespread damage. Residents were caught off guard. It was like a wall of ice come from the sky, said Marco Ricci, who was walking near the Pisa Nava. The hail smashed car windows and bounced on the sidewalk. We can reach the cover. Tourists and local alike scrambled to find shelters and streets quickly flooded in ice water. Emergency services were overwhelmed. Firefighters and civil protection teams responded to hundreds of calls involving fallen trees, blocked roads and stranded vehicles. In the Trastevere district, metro station and houses were trampled, submerged and buses were forced to reroute. Meteorologists described the storm of sudden and extreme caused by the Mediterranean low-pressure system interacted with warm, humid air from Africa. This condition can produce very violent storm in a short time, said climatologist Emilia-Romagna. On Tuesday afternoon, Rome experienced a shocking weather change. Heavy hail fell on the city, leaving an instant cover in ice and chaos. The warm and humid day quickly turned into sin and destruction as dark cloud gathered over the capital without warning. Released hailstorm the size of walnuts with pelted cars, roofs and pristines. Within the minutes, the city's cobbled streets turned into ice rivers, and ambulances series broke through the narrow valley and Trastevere and Tuscany. Locals took refuge in cafes, shops and metro station while the storm raged for nearly an hour. It was terrible, said Gianni Moretti, a taxi driver who was cut off in the storm. The hail was so heavy and I could see road. I thought the white ship would break. The hail caused significant damage to it. White ship damaged cars and flooding low-lying area. In some parts of Villa Appia Nola, parked cars were flooded up to their doors, and a section of Rome metro lines A and B were temporarily closed due to water ingress. Firefighters received more than 500 emergency calls, including rescue of people from the stuck cars and flooded basements. In the intensity described as expansional, the combination of warm and shoe-laden air from the Mediterranean Sea and southern cold front from the Alps causing the explosion storm accompanied by hail and intense electrical activity. Meteorologists declared a state of emergency, mobilized hundreds of municipal workers to clear fallen debris and unblocked roads. Rome drainage infrastructure could not cope with the heat and unbladed to press conference. This storm has once again demonstrated how vulnerability our city is to extreme weather conditions. Public transportation in the capital was severely disrupted. Metro lines A and B were particularly suspended, and trains from Terni station were delayed in several hours due to flooded tracks. Schools in the several districts were closed the following day safety checks. Video posted online showed residents wading through the waist-deep water by stuck in the middle of the streets in a hailstones the size of marble pelting parked car. It was like the end of the world, said Marina Ferrara, a local spokesman near the Coliseum. Everything turned white in 5 minutes. The sound was pure terror. Photos and videos circulated on social media showed iconic landmarks like a Trevi Foundation and the Pizza Venezia buried in ice. Hail up to 15 centimeters deep fell in some areas, causing road closures and public transport delays. Several trees were uprooted, debris littered the I-19 ring road and severe traffic jams ensured. Outside the capital neighboring destroying farmland in Lazio, seaports were agriculture damaged. Vineyard and olive groves were devastated, with the farmers estimated losers in the millions of euros. The crops have completely destroyed it is heartbreaking, said Antonio Rizzi, a farmer in Veneto. Environmental experts warn that climate change is making such extreme weather events increasingly frequent. Professor Gianni Volde and Rome University pointed out the Mediterranean is warming faster than the global average. He explained it. They mean storms generate more energy, making heavy rain and large hail from likely. Rome is reeling from the storm fury as an emergency response team clear roads and assess damage. When the eternal city has been reminded is not immune and the intensify extreme weather caused by the climate change. Raising the alarm over significant damage to crops, vineyard and olive groves, gave the region economy, where damaged raising concerns about the shortage and price tags. Local markets lost fresh produce, water and ice and destroyed market stalls. Dramatic video approached the social media showing hailstone pelted down of the Colosseum with some clip millimeters of the view of meteor in hour. Meteorologists warned that such severe meteor previously rare in Rome could become common in rising sea temperatures intensify storms in the southern Europe. A Rome cleared ice from the streets and aces of the financial damage. The storm has represented the debate about the urban resilience, climate change adaptation, and the Italian capital's preparedness for the increasingly unpredictability of nature. The Italian capital was through the intel turmoil after sudden and violent hailstorm hit the Rome, covering the streets with the ice, damaged vehicles and living residents stranded. The storm, which arrived without warning, was declared a meteorologist is one of the most intense hail events the city has in the decades. Within minutes, the sky darkened over the central Rome before unleashing the barrage of hailstones, some the size of Gold's Ball. The streets around the Colosseum, Pisa, Venezia and Trastevere was transformed into rivers of ice. Video shared on social media showed scooters and cars are skidding out of control while passengers rolled their shoulders in subway station. It sounded like the gunshot of roofs, said residents. Chiara Lombardy was a car white plate was shattered. In 15 minutes everything was destroyed. Emergency service responded. The hundreds of calls or rescue drivers trapped in the flooded overpasses and removing fallen branches. At least 25 people were injured, mainly is broken glass and debris. Storm winds with the cyclone rotation around the lowland between Basilicata and Campania when it gets up to 100 km/h in the lower Tyrrhenian Sea. Sicilian, Ionian and Adriatic straits as the result of strong winds surge along the open coast. The situation is less critical in the West Mons basins and the Upper Tyrrhenian Sea. Bad weather is raging in Lazio, but not only there. Strong storms surge throughout the Italy and snow at the well low altitude. The sea is stormy on the coast of Ponza is the ferry connecting of the island Formia and the marker of the waves. The ship brought to the Formia left an hour late today. By evening it was still and the road can left Ponza at 3:13 p.m. It is expected to arrive Formia around 8:45 p.m. Rome, Italy was hit by unprecedented hailstorm, surprised and catching locals by tourists of God. The storm brought heavy rain, lightning and hailstones the size of a golf ball, caused damage of cars, homes and businesses. Witnesses reported hearing long bands of the hailstorm stuck roofs and windows. Many took to social media share photos and video of severe storm, with some experienced disbelief of such weather could occur in a normally sunny sea.
Mai visto una roba del genere, guarda!
Storm winds with the cyclone rotation around the lowland between Basilicata and Campania when it gets up to 100 km/h in the lower Tyrrhenian Sea. Sicilian, Ionian and Adriatic straits as the result of strong winds surge along the open coast. The situation is less critical in the West Mons basins and the upper Tyrrhenian Sea. Bad weather is raging in Lazio, but not only there. Strong storms surge throughout Italy and snow at the well low altitude. The sea is stormy on the coast of Ponza is the fair connecting of the island Formia and the marker of the waves. The ship brought to the Formia left on the hour late today. By evening it was still and the road can left Ponza at 3:13 p.m. It is expected to arrive Formia around 8:45 p.m. Rome, Italy was hit by unprecedented hailstorm, surprised and catching locals by tourists of God. The storm brought heavy rain, lightning and hailstones the size of a golf ball, caused damage of cars, homes and businesses. Witnesses reported hearing long bands of the hailstorm stuck roofs and windows. Many took to social media share photos and video of severe storm, with some experienced disbelief of such weather could occur in a normally sunny sea.
Questo è un grosso problema, molto grosso, porta via il negozio qua, adesso porta via macchine e tutto.
Hospitals reported on a sharp increase in important of the bureaus and the minor factories. Businesses, especially cafes and open-air markets, suffered significant losses of the sudden flood destroyed supplies to outdoor sitting areas. Farmers to the outskirts and the city also serious losses and a vineyard and olive groves were destroyed by the storm. Video quickly spread on social media showed hailstorm bouncing off incident capables of the floating landmarks such as the Colosseum, shocking viewers around the world. Tourists caught on the storm described the experiences as apocalyptic. Climate experts warned that such extreme weather events are becoming more frequent in Italy, pointing out the former warmer seas contributed to the strong storm. As the cleanup efforts continue, Rome is tying the financial damage and reflection to the capital vulnerability to sudden climate shock. Offering the lifeline in these terrifying times, agriculture sector is the backbone of Sicily economy. Is not immune to the storm impact. Orange in the field and inundated, posing to threat to groups of livelihood. Farmers already facing challenges in recent years are now too late to continue with the aftermath of this natural disaster. As the storm intensifies, rescue operations are underway to ensure the safety of residents trapped in the rising water. Emergency service blocked by the local volunteers to navigate in treacherous conditions to reach those in need. Evacuations are being carried out systemically, proportions to most vulnerable members of the community. Italy's government, in collaboration with the regional authority, is mobilizing rescue to address the crisis. Prime Minister Meteorologists has declared a state of emergency in Sicily, unlocking additional funds to rescue and in recovery efforts. The Italian Red Cross and other humanitarian organizations are also coordinated relief operations to provide essential supplies and support the affected communities. While the storm continued to batter Sicily, the resilience and solidarity in the people shine through. Neighbors are leading to helping hand and the communities are coming together to face changing 17% to natural disaster. Local authority urged residents to stay at home and avoid travel to roads and rail, more driving conditions dangerous. Emergency services were also called to help with the deal in the aftermath of the storm, including clearing roads and SFDs affected. The hail comes as Italy, like much of Europe, experienced unseasonably cold weather. Forecasts predict that the extreme weather could continue for several days, with some storms of heavy rain expected across the country. Although Rome is no stranger to extreme weather events, the sudden intensity and hailstorm cut off guard, as residents began the process to cleaning up and repairing the damage caused by the storm. They will adapt it by keeping a close eye on weather forecast in the coming days. The storm, which has intensified in terrain and sea over the past few hours, has taken a character as a full-fledged cyclone. Winds around the ridge and sometimes exceeded gusts of 100 km/h as the sea was through. In the coming days, severe storm with wake up to 5 to 6 meters high and peaks up to 8 meters are expected in the Mediterranean Sea between the southwestern provinces of Campania, especially Cilento and Calabria, as well as over most of Sicily and the Ionian Sea and the entire Adriatic. Tomorrow they shift the low-pressure system towards the Adriatic with a mainly effect to eastern basins. So let's take a look at the details.
Su bestia.